Alright, well, welcome back to Allison Customs Project Car TV. I hope everybody had a great holiday season and a happy new year so far. Coming up end of January, and I have been busy working mostly in January, a little bit in December, very little bit in November, but I've been busting butt as much as I could. You guys saw the video on the solar system. That ate up a lot of time. It's working great right now. Got some little things I want to tweak, some suggestions I got, so thank you all for all of those. Beyond that, we've got so many projects in the shop, and finally one of them's about to leave. Probably, well, it'll be done today. Now whether it'll leave in the next week to 10 days is probably more likely, just for getting it scheduled into the next shop where it'll get sanded and primered, and actually they're going to media blast it and prime it. So what I thought I would do is just kind of give you a shop tour real quick. Tried this a few years ago. I called it like zombie projects, you know, stuff that just was sitting around. I've got a few that are sitting, but I've got mostly projects that are under construction in some form, and I get questions all the time. Hey, why are you starting a new project when you got this old one that you still haven't finished? Well, many of you know, and for those of you who don't and are just joining or whatever, thank you for joining in with us. But and thank you for all of you that have been with me for all these years now, you know, growing the channel. But this is what I call a working shop, meaning it brings in an income, and so customer cars have to take precedence. Now I have customers that are one-time customers, and I very much appreciate their business. And I have customers who are return customers. They bring projects, different projects in and out, or the same project back as they want to change it up. And so I try and give them a little bit of priority so that I can keep that relationship going, and, you know, without pushing off my you know, big term, long-term project customers at the same time. Well, there's only one of me. I did try and hire some help this last year, and it just didn't work out. I kind of jump back and forth between projects. A lot of that has to do with when customers have funds available to invest in their project. And other times it's just, you know, I'm tired of working on something. I'm tired of cutting rust out, and I want to do some mechanical work or whatever. But I thought we'd kind of take a walk through the shop here and just kind of get an idea of what's out here, what's being done. So first we're going to go upstairs. We're going to take an overview look down onto the shop floor. I'll point everything out, talk about it, and then we'll come down, and the ones that are interesting we'll get a close-up look at. Well, here's the shop. Let me change positions a little bit. This is upstairs on the balcony. We're looking down at everything we've got. And so we'll just start here. We have the Scout here, which is a personal project, so that has to take back seat to everything else. You guys might remember my little forklift. Still runs great. Use it not a lot, but you know, whenever I need something. Under this cover here we have Dustin's 1970 Mustang. It hasn't been touched, oh, we're probably getting close to 6 months, and we're just waiting on the owner, Dustin, to be able to put some money towards it. So it'll sit there for a while, and we'll get some money in, and then we'll do a little bit of work, and then it kind of goes back into the corner. Up here on the lift, we have a 57 Chevy that belongs to Regan. So Regan owned a C-10 pickup that a few years ago that I did door seals and a LS pedal mount, and wired up the LS for it, and then we later saw it at a car show after he had sold it. This one down here, this is Scott's C-10. This is a 1970 C-10. You can see most of it's done. I've still got a little bit of work to do on the wheel wells for the back end, and then actually today I'm planning, I was just taking some stuff out of the interior, and I'm gonna pull the glass out of it because we've decided it's gonna get a full paint job. Let's see. Doors for the 57, they're done and ready to go. And really the 57's basically done. I got a few things left on it. That's the 1968 GMC, the red truck that my nephew wants and we've been working on. Those two are my Mustangs back there, 68 Mustangs, and then my Trailblazer SS that's parts for one of these other projects. So that's what's in the shop. You can see the plasma table down here, workstation. So we added all this shelving last year, and then the solar system. And that's pretty much been the whole year, getting it this far. Once again, I guess we'll start at the Scout. Where I got to was I'm into the body work. I just don't like body work, so I keep dragging my feet on it. In the meantime, I started doing some of the electrical work, getting panels set up, and started doing some of the wiring. You see it back there hanging off. Started getting some of the wiring in. The idea is everything will connect through connectors, through the firewall, and into the inner fenders, and keep most of the wiring hidden that way. Like I said, I call him Guido. Need to finish the paint someday. And I started to paint the boom, and I could see the Clark sign in the side and the high-low stacker stick, high-low stacker. And I didn't want to cover that up, so I kind of quit. I just cleaned it up as much as I could, as far as I dared, to where you could start to see the Clark and everything on there again. There's probably one more layer of paint on there that I could try and get off, but I don't want to go into the Clark sign, so I just quit. I quit on it because I didn't want to mess that up. I liked the way it looked. Dustin's Mustang. It hasn't changed since the last time you guys would have seen it in a video. So one of these days we'll be back on that. Really not too long. We did get some funding for it here not too long ago. Scott's C-10. So it's on a rotisserie. I did finish the firewall. I think I've shown you that. Got some brake parts mounted, including we're going to switch it over to Hydro Boost. So that's on there. The reason it's on the rotisserie is I need to flip it over and do some work on the cab supports down there. They're all rusted out, and it took forever, but I finally got some new ones in. Today I just need to get the windshield and the rear window out so that I'm not getting any weld splatter against those. I had them all covered up with 3M weld paper, but I just want to get them out of the way since we're going to do a full paint anyway. But again, that's the red C10. Hasn't changed. Body mounts are basically done. Still need to fix the floor. I saved that transmission tunnel out of the 57 Chevy, thinking I might be able to use part of that. I don't know. We'll see what it looks like. Really thinking I'll probably just use like a couple of the high hump for the floor. Let's see, this truck has one. So I'm thinking I may just get some humps like that, not this part. I've already bought one, but I'm thinking I may buy a second one because the hole comes way back here to clear the transfer case. Just hook two of them together and make it look like it's just one long tunnel. But we'll see. That's where the red truck's at. And my nephew, who really wants the truck, is getting married. So we all know that may mean the end of his projects. Let's see. Flip the camera around here. Okay, so we're underneath the 57. Let's just actually go out the front here. We'll start from the front side. So on the 57, we've got the whole firewall in, ground smooth, welded back in the front body mount supports off the firewall, which those came off the original car. They were still in great shape. All of this has been welded up. I still need to just go over these welds just a little bit. It was welded inside and out, you know, and you can see up here where that's all I'm looking for. I'm not going to try and metal finish it. Just knock the rough stuff off so you don't stub your toe on it when you're walking under it, or, you know, because that happens. Let's see. So back side of the rockers, I've got one or two little holes to fill on there. And then just finish grinding some of the welds back up here where it's behind that lift arm. Did the mini tub. That came out pretty well. Very happy with that. The side over here still needs to be ground, so we're not going to spend any time looking at it. That's it. Let's see, we did. That still needs to be ground too, but that's in this side's, the driver's side mini tub. So now this car got a full floor, as well as the firewall, and then we did a transmission tunnel and the mini tubs, and worked on gaps. The car was quite obviously twisted at some point. Came in on a rotisserie with just a very minimal amount of support, especially considering all the rust that was in it. You'll see the very first video on this 57 Chevy next week, and I think it's on the rocker panels, but I did quite a bit of filming on this, and then I got to the point where I just had to move through it, so towards the end, we'll probably just be clipping in some walkarounds and some me talking about what got done. Lowering it down now so I can show you guys the floor and the transmission tunnel and just see where it's at. But it came along pretty well. Everything in here was just really badly rusted, so I had to rebuild a lot of the corners, both sides. Had to rebuild a whole bunch of the A-pillar. Had to rebuild, patch in the quarter panels. So you can see there's a patch here. There's another one up here. Took a big old dent out back here. See a lot of work up in here. So let me flip you around again. So here we go. Here's the floor. It was a complete floor all the way through the car. And then cut out the factory transmission tunnel and put in this bigger one so that he could run a 4L80E. I think he's expecting to run about 500 horsepower on this car. You see the mini tubs from the inside, so I had to make filler panels and then shape them to fit everything. So they are different shapes, but that's just the way the car is. That's low enough. And you can see this side, the back was pretty good, but the whole front was rusted out up here. It was all rust. So I had to cut out as much as I did, and then still got to do some dress up on some of those welds and then put a little primer over the top of it. That's the inside. Let's see, we can look at, I don't think much has changed on the frame since the last videos you guys have seen. It's all basically just waiting for me to finish the plumbing. And then I showed you I still had a little bit of work to do on the wheel wells back there. So once I've got those done at the bottom down there, once I've got those done and can bolt everything in, then can start to finish out. I've got a few places where just the fit not quite right, considering we're doing a full paint job anyway. May as well get things right. So overall, this is in pretty good shape. I just need to break it down, figure out where the plumbing's going to go, where the wiring's going to go to the back, and then break it down, send it off for sandblasting and powder coat and other parts for sandblasting and paint. So inside the cab, many of you saw me that watched the Tool Bag Tuesday saw me peeling out some of this vinyl tape stuff with the New Master heat gun. Yeah. Anyway, I said I was going to go right back to it and finish peeling it out. I haven't done it. It's still sitting here. I did get the AC mounted up under the dash there, and it's mounted pretty high. I do have to modify this plastic insert for the glove box. Just need to heat it up a little bit, so we'll use that New Master heat gun probably. What else? Oh, we have the owner wants to go back with a stock style stereo rather than a DIN, a DIN mount. So I found a replacement panel that'll go in there. So we just got to cut that out, which is another reason to get the windshield out so that we're not blowing sparks and stuff up onto it from the inside. Because the glass on this truck is actually in very good shape. So that's about it. Let me sit back down. Well, guys, that's the overview and the walkthrough. There's been other things that come and go. You know, I had a little scooter that was my dad's that needed new electronics put on it. So, you know, you burn half a day there or day, like half day diagnosing it, half day fixing it. You know, 2 weeks later when the parts come in kind of thing. I've added some stuff to the shop. I hooked up some hose reels for my acetylene and oxygen setup. I don't know, just little stuff. You know, you just burn hours here and there, but those hours don't earn any money and they're not typically all that interesting for video, so it's hard to keep up with that. But we're moving along. Like I said, today we're going to try and knock out the glass on this truck, and not knock it out, but take it out. So I'll do a video on that and probably finish up some videos, just stuff on the 57, basically kind of showing you what I already did, but a lot of that was on how to do it or how I was doing it. So anyway, that's probably it for this week. Thanks for watching. Please like, subscribe, hit the bell for notifications. Like I said, you'll see your first video on the 57 Chevy next week, and then probably run 2 or 3 of those before we get on to any of the other projects, so that that one's leaving and you'll be watching the last video by the time it's actually gone. So yeah, thanks for watching. We'll see you again soon.